Everyone, today we are going to talk about how to use Upnotes. I'm going to skip the onboarding part and setting it up because most of you will anyway figure it out. It's very simple. Uh, and I'm going to talk about how to efficiently use it and what we are building and why we built this, right? So that's the idea. So let's get started. Basically, what we are building is we are building a simple and powerful notes app for software developers that helps you capture your context, right? So what I mean by that is like you just do what you're doing. You take notes, you note everything down, you organize it, and then whatever you are doing, all the context get saved in the process, right? So you shouldn't have to think about organizing your things, right? Like one example of that is how Git works, right? In Git you just do stuff and all the context get captured, right? But you do a lot of stuff that is outside Git also, so that's what we want to capture in our notes app, right? So that we can capture more and more context, right? So that's what we want to do, right? So let me show you how that works. So this is how I have organized my notes, right? Uh, and you can organize it in any way you want. The basic concept here is you have a page and you can create hierarchy of pages, right? It can go up to any level deep. So for instance, I have a high level page called task. So each page can contain notes and has a type. So you can, for instance, you can create a new page with any of these types, right? So VS Code editor is the simplest editor that we all are familiar with. Markdown is another editor that for formatting things, writing headings, putting images, writing code blocks. You can use Markdown. You have a simple to-do list. You have diff because a lot of time you want to just see the diff, what happened, and that context also should get saved in your note. You have formatter, and we are going to add more and more things into this, right? Let me know what else you guys want by joining our Discord channel, right? So for instance, I create a page called demo. So this is a top level page. Here you can write summary of this page. You can add links, right? So this could be your individual task, or this could be like the high level thing where all of your task is. It's up to you, right? Really. And then you can create sub pages, right? So you can create more sub pages. Like let's say I create task for demo, then let's say I created to-do list inside task one to-do list, right? So I say finish recording the demo. So this is, let's say, my task, and I can check it, uncheck it. It's very simple, but that's what we wanted to build, like a simple thing that is powerful enough to just not distract you but get your work done, right? And similarly you can create divs, and you can create formatters, and everything gets saved, right? So you can format things, and all of this gets saved in your local file system, right? So let me show you how that works. So we just created demo, right? So you can see inside demo you have two markdown files, formatter and index.md. So index.md is the node for your demo itself, and formatter is a sub node inside demo, and task is another sub node inside demo, for which index.md is the task, and these are the sub tasks inside the task, right? So basically we are still using the file system, but we have modified it to create this hierarchy of pages, right? And all of this is owned by you, so you don't have to worry about syncing it to cloud and all that. It works offline, right? And that's how you can do it. So for instance, uh, like here in my task I have these things, right? I have a to do, uh, and then I have package.json that I formatted. I have package.json diff that I was checking as part of this task, right? And all of this is saved, right? You don't have to worry about coming back to it, but if you need to come back to it in future, you can come back to it and like relive the whole experience of what you did at that time, right? So that's the intention that we have. And similarly you can have something like wiki where you keep long-term things in markdown, right? So that's the short overview of how you should use it, right? And of course, if you have VS Code, you get command palette. You can do all the things that VS Code editor supports, right? It has a powerful uh, finder and replacer where you can use regex and things like that, right? So The idea is to use the familiar editor that we are all familiar with, right? Instead of having something complicated that you have to learn and which is different than your day-to-day work, right? So that's the brief overview of how you should use Upnotes and why we have built it. And just the last thing, you can sync all of these nodes to GitHub. So I've synced it to GitHub. You can go to this uh, tab right here and set up your sync, right? And then you can have all of these nodes uh, automatically committed to your GitHub directory. This is just the beginning of what we are doing, so we'd love to get feedback from you guys and make this better. Thanks a lot.